Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about dividing decimals. And yesterday we were adding, subtracting, and multiplying them. And so the division, don't worry, it's not too challenging. I'll show you it. It really isn't too bad. Okay, but the first thing I want to discuss is the different parts of a division problem. I will be using these terms a lot, and so you need to know what all of these mean. Look at this problem: 48 divided by 4 equals 12. I have it written four different ways. Most of the time, you either read it from left to right or top to bottom. So your first number, the 48, that is your dividend. Then we divide by 4. The 4 is our divisor in this problem. And it equals 12. The quotient is the answer to a division problem. Now, if you see, instead of the division symbol, if you see a fraction bar used like this, then your dividend is in the top. Your divisor is in the bottom. And then the answer is called the quotient. All right, now sometimes people will wonder, now why can't we just keep using this division symbol here? And so I really actually kind of want to talk about that just very quickly here. This is really kind of a side note. Um, but if you think about a division symbol, when you're looking at a division symbol, now nobody ever told me this. I had one of those days where I kind of went, oh, this right here in the division symbol is your fraction bar. The two dots up here and here are the numbers involved in your division, your dividend and your divisor. So even when you see this symbol used for division, it's really showing you a fraction bar. So why even bother using the symbol? Let's just use our fraction bar and substitute the dividend and the divisor in these places here where you see the dots. Okay, so let's take a look back here and look at this one here. Instead of having a fraction bar that's horizontal, sometimes you'll see it as an angle, especially if we've written it on a computer, because it's hard on a computer sometimes to show it this way with a horizontal fraction bar. So we have our dividend here, and then we're dividing by 4. That's your divisor. And then the quotient is 12. Okay, now when we set it up for long division, we always put the dividend inside the garage, you can say, because we're setting it up to do our individual dividing. 4 goes into 4 once, you get a remainder of 0, bring down the 8. 4 goes into 8 twice. That's why it is written backward. It's just set up better for showing our long division. But our dividend is inside the garage, you could say. The divisor is out front. And then the quotient here, your solution, goes up top. Okay, so those are the three parts of a division problem, and you need to know all those different parts. Okay, so we're going to jump ahead here and look at a problem. 385.6, we're dividing by 8. I have a red background here, so I'd better choose a color other than red for showing my work. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is rewrite this problem as a long division problem. Again, you see that division symbol. We could have used a fraction bar since, well, that's what the big boys and the big girls do. But anyway, we're going to write it as a long division problem. 385.6 divided by 8. What's beautiful about this problem is our divisor is a whole number, and that's really nice. That's very, very, very nice because we need a whole number out for our divisor here. It's okay to have a decimal in your dividend and in your quotient, of course, but we never want one in the divisor. So now what I do is I take my decimal point and I bring it straight up here in the quotient line. We did this in topic 0 when we were doing the review also. You may have noticed on the test there weren't any questions on this because we needed more time working on it. So that's what we're hitting right now today. Okay, so anyway, let's take a look. 8, does it fit into 3? No, it does not. Some people like to put an X there. All right, now will 8 go into 38? Yes, it does, 4 times. 8 times 4 is 32. If I had tried 5 times 8 would be 40. That would be too big. All right, so I subtract, I have a remainder of 6. And then I'll drop this next digit here, which is a 5. And how close can you get to 65 when multiplying by 8? Well, 8 times 8 is 64. That's really close. So I have an 8 here. 8 times 8 is 64. And I subtract, I get a remainder of 1. Okay, so I already know my decimal point goes right here. It always goes straight up into the quotient line. So I can basically ignore the decimal point now, and I'll just bring the next digit down, this 6. And now I have 16. And does 8 go into 16? Yeah, in fact, it goes in there exactly 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. And I have a remainder of 0, which makes me very happy. So I know my answer here is 48.2. All right, 48 and 2/10 is the solution. If you wanted to, you could check your answer by taking 48.2 and multiplying it by 8. If you do that, you should get 385.6 for your answer. And you will, okay? All right, let's look at another one. Oh, and I should mention to you, it's incredibly important that you show all of your work. I had some students this past week when we were working on this in topic 0 tell me, oh, I didn't show work, I did it in my head. No, they did not do it in their head. We need to show our work on these problems. All right, here I have 6.045 divided by 7.5. Now, in order to divide, the divisor, this number here, must be a whole number. Right now, we have a decimal value here, okay? I can rewrite it in long division form, 6.045 divided by 7.5. But at this point, I need to do something to clear the decimal out of this divisor. And what I can do is just move it one space to the right. But if I do that, I also need to do it over here, move this one space to the right. And so now I have 60.45 divided by 75. And now my divisor is a whole number. Okay, now I want you to know this isn't just some neat little trick that we do in math. What I actually did to move this decimal point to the right one space is I multiplied it by 10. And I did the same thing over here. I multiplied this by 10. You know, if we had written this division problem in, like a fraction, 6.045 over 7.5, just like when we were simplifying fractions, if we multiply these both by 10, we're actually multiplying by 10 over 10, or 1 whole, which doesn't change its value. So 60.45 over 75 means the same thing as this. So we're not changing the division problem at all. All right, so I'm going to bring the decimal point straight up here into my quotient. And now, will 75 fit into 6? No. Will it fit into 60? No. So 75 goes into 60 0 times. I'll just put a 0 there. And now I have 604. Does 75 go into 604? At this point, we kind of have to do some guessing. I think it's going to be 8 times, though. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry the 4. 8 times 7 is 56. I'll add 4. That's 60. And actually, I get 600, which is really close to 604. All right, now when I subtract, I have a remainder of 4. Okay, now if I had tried 7 and I took 7 times 75, I would have had 525. I would have had a remainder of 79, which is so big, another 75 could have fit into it. So then I would have had to bump that up to an 8. Or if I had tried 9, I would have ended up with 675, which is too big to fit into 604, so I'd have to back it off. So sometimes you do have to kind of guess and check to figure out what number goes here. Anyway, I'm going to bring down this next digit, which is a 5. Now, how many times does 75 go into 45? Uh-oh, 0 times. So I need to put a 0 there. Okay, so what do I do because I don't have a remainder of 0? Well, what I need to do is, when you look at the dividend here, I can add a 0 here. and I'm not changing its value. In fact, I can add as many zeros as I want to, and it won't change its value, okay? So let's just add a 0, and then I'll bring it down, and we'll see what happens. I can always add more zeros if I need to. And then how many times will 75 go into 450? Actually, exactly 6 times. Take a look. 6 times 5 is 30. I carry a 3, so I'll get rid of that 4 from before. 6 times 7 is 42. Add 3, 45. And when I subtract 450 from 450, I get my remainder of 0. So my answer is 0.806. But I did have to add a 0 here and then bring it down in order to be able to continue all the way to the end and get a final answer that is a terminating decimal. I haven't talked about terminating or repeating decimals with you yet. We will eventually talk about terminating and repeating decimals, okay? All right, so let's take a look here. I think I'll skip this one due to time. Let's look at this one. We have 0.475 divided by 0.5. I'm going to write it as a long division problem. Notice I'm not even bothering to show the zeros in front of the decimal points. They really don't matter in terms of when I show my long division here. But I am noticing my divisor not only has a decimal point, but I have to move it 2 spaces to the right to get rid of it. And really what I'm doing when I'm moving 2 spaces to the right is I'm multiplying by 10, and then I'm multiplying by 10 again. I'm multiplying by 100. So I need to do that here also, move it 2 to the right. And so we end up with 47.5 divided by 5. Oh, I like where this one is going. Let's bring the decimal point straight up here into the quotient. 5 will not fit into 4, but it goes into 47 9 times. 9 times 5, that's 45. I get a remainder of 2. And then again, I can ignore the decimal point because I already have it in my quotient. Let's pull down this 5 here. And 5 does go into 25 exactly 5 times. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25. I have my remainder of 0. It's very important that you show your work and show all of your steps, but you can see our answer here is 9 5/10. This one was a lot easier than the last one, wasn't it? All right. One more question. It's a word problem. You use 0.5 or half of a pound of berries, that means the same thing as half a pound, to make one smoothie. How many smoothies can you make with 2.25 pounds of berries? All right, so we need to see how many times 0.5 fits into 2.25. So it's a division problem. 2.25 pounds, we're dividing by 0.5 pounds. You might be able to count by 0.5s. 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2. Well, that's 4 smoothies. 2.5, 5 smoothies. Uh-oh, we don't have 2.5. But let's show our work here. 0.5, we can't have a decimal in the divisor. So 5/10, whoop, move over 1 space. Same thing here, whoop. And now I have 22.5 divided by 5. Bring the decimal point straight up, and now we'll start dividing. 5 will not fit into 2, but it goes into 22 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20, leaving us a remainder of 2. Drop the next digit, which is a 5. 5 goes into 25 5 times, and I have a remainder of 0. So how many smoothies can you make? 4.5 smoothies. So I need to label my answer since it is a word problem. Now, there may be some of you thinking, well, we only have 4 smoothies that we can make then, because half of a smoothie, 0.5 smoothies, isn't a smoothie, and we were asked how many smoothies can we make. So you could, I suppose, technically say you can make 4 smoothies, and then you'll have a little bit of leftover berries. But I'm just going to say we can make 4.5 smoothies. Half a smoothie is still pretty good by me. Oh, it's only full to here. Well, if that makes you sad, give it to me. All right, we're done for today. Have a nice day.